Data nerds, in this video, we're going to be going over my systematic approach that I've learned over the years in becoming a data analyst. For this, we'll go through a data-backed ranking of the top skills you should focus on and ones you shouldn't focus on. Along the way, we'll be breaking down each one of these skills, understanding why it's important and what you need to know. And finally, we're going to be going through my 3-step approach that I've mentored thousands of others in utilizing to land their dream job. Now, if you're new here, I'm Luke. After getting my engineering degree, I served in the submarine force, spending a total of 2 years of my life underwater. I got my start in data working at a global Fortune 500 company. I've made courses for over 30,000 students on Data Camp, and my last job was building pipelines on MrBeast's YouTube channel. Now, real quick before we get into it, the strategies and approaches that I'm going to go over in this video aren't my own opinion. They're actually backed by data. As I've conducted countless interviews with data analysts that were either job searching or landed their job, along with data managers that hired. Now, more recently, I've founded datanerd.tech, a real-time job market platform that aggregates and tells you what the top skills are you should be focusing on to land your job. So we'll be using the data from my app of over 4 million jobs combined with what I've learned over the past decade in order to get you an unbiased opinion of what tools and what order you should be learning them. Now, before we just dive right into the skills, we need to understand first what the heck a data analyst actually does. For this, it's best understood by looking at the data analytics life cycle. This 4-step process starts with collecting data. Now, once you have it, it's rarely in the form you need, so you have to clean it. Then, after wasting most of your time on that, it's actually time to get into analyzing it. And you typically need to do this for a boss or stakeholder, and that moves to the last step of reporting it. Now, there's 3 major practitioners in this field that you need to be aware of. First is data analysts, that's why you're on this video, and they use historical data to answer business questions. Now, in order to even get this data, you need what's known as a data engineer. They're typically upstream in this cycle and they build and maintain data infrastructure. Finally, we have data scientists. They're more downstream. They focus more on building predictive models using statistics and machine learning. So how's this work in practice? Well, a data engineer starts by identifying pertinent data sources such as files or data located within databases. They then build pipelines to get them into a centralized location, such as a data warehouse. Now, a data analyst would then connect and explore this data warehouse using a tool like 𝗖cie𝗂𝗿𝗀, build reports from what they learned with spreadsheet tools like Excel, or even build dashboards with popular tools like Power BI. Now, similarly, data scientists would also use a pipeline that a data engineer had built. They'd likely use something like 𝗖cie𝗂𝗋 to connect and explore to either a data warehouse or a lakehouse, then use Python to build those predictive models, and then potentially build dashboards to communicate those results in a tool like Power BI. Now, for more advanced companies that are staying up with the times, you'd at minimum have a 3-person team of a data engineer building a pipeline, a data analyst then answering questions and building dashboards, and then from there, a data scientist building predictive models. However, I have been part of companies that aren't as advanced. And as a data analyst, you can find yourself building pipelines, then doing your actual job. And if you have spare time, which you likely won't, you could build predictive models. Now, if you want to dive deeper in understanding what a data analyst actually does, along with the concepts that we're going to go over in this video, I have a completely free data analytics crash course that's delivered directly to your inbox every morning for 5 days. This course covers all the essentials you need to know to land your first data analyst role. Check out the link in the description to sign up. Now that we have a basic understanding of the job, we now need to shift into what skills are used on the job. To do this, we're going to be using a data-backed approach in order to look at what are the most top demanded skills in job postings. This analysis comes from over 80,000 job postings, where on average, each of these jobs is asking for 4 skills, and the median salary worldwide right now is around $100,000. Now, there are 6 top skills that we're going to be focusing on. After these top 6, they drop off significantly, and I don't feel like they're worth your time. The first up is SQL. It appears in 1 in every 2 job postings, and nothing else comes close. After that, we have the spreadsheet software Excel, appearing in 1 of 3 postings. After that, we have Python, which is tied with Excel, but I feel this skill is severely overhyped. More on this later. Then we have the business intelligence tools of Power BI and Tableau, with Power BI in the lead. And finally, we have the last one of R, which is also a programming language just like Python. Now, there's 6 tools here, but they really can be bucketed into 4 distinct categories. First is SQL, which is a language to communicate with databases. Then we have spreadsheet softwares of Excel. Then from there, we have business intelligence tools of Tableau and Power BI. And then finally, Python and R, programming languages. So by grouping all of these skills into 4 buckets, I hope this becomes a little bit more digestible. Specifically, in understanding you don't need to learn all 6 of these skills. In fact, I don't even recommend learning all 4 of the buckets, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's get into breaking down each one of those buckets of what the skill is and what I even recommend learning about it. First up, we're going to explore the database tool of SQL, or if you're in another region of the world, you can also call it SQL. Now this stands for Structured Query Language, and this starts from your computer by building what's known as a SQL query. This is then sent to a database, and the database performs the computation necessary for that query and provides an output with data structured as a table. This is sent to your computer to view the results. Now SQL has 3 major types of commands. First are those of DQL, or data query language. These are used to read a database and don't do any modification. Next up is DML, or data manipulation language, and this is used to update or even delete records in a database. Finally, we have DDL, or data definition language. This gets into creating and dropping entire databases. Stuff you gotta be really careful with. For beginners, they need to focus on the basics of DQL and also understanding DML commands. Once they have that down, then shift to more advanced query concepts like CTEs and window functions. Now, as we go through each of these tools one by one, we're gonna rank them in a tier list. For this, S is the highest tier and is what I recommend the most, and C is, well, the lowest and what I don't recommend. Now, as you saw by the data, SQL is the most foundational skill that you need to have. So for ranking this, because SQL is used to connect to databases, and databases is where the majority of data is found, we're gonna put this up into the S tier, a required skill you should have to land your role. All right, let's move on to the second bucket, understanding spreadsheet tools. For this, let's go back. Ever since the time of ancient Babylon, we've been infatuated with record keeping. In the old days, they used things like stone tablets. The Romans then helped perfect this process in developing an accounting process in order to maximize their taxes. The word spreadsheet comes from a reference to the format of the accounting ledger, where these would be used to record results spread across multiple paper sheets. Spread sheets. Get it? Anyway, fast forward to the 1980s and we have tools like VisiCalc and Lotus 123, and they're the dominant player until Bill Gates enters the game and introduces Microsoft Excel. Since its launch in 1985, it's been wreaking havoc and dominating market share. This tool initially was focused on spreadsheet operations only. This included using basic formulas and functions to perform quick calculations, along with the ability to make visualizations like charts. Over the years, Excel has become more supercharged in that they've introduced a feature of Power Query. This tool is super powerful, no pun intended, in connecting to a host of different data sources, including databases. So it makes this tool super versatile. Now, when focusing on concepts, I recommend for beginners first start with formulas, functions, charts, and tables. Then from there, shift to more advanced topics like pivot tables and Power Query. Now, the one superpower I found with Excel is that unlike SQL that requires you to know a language, Excel is very much universally used, especially by non-data analysts or non-data nerds. So I routinely find myself performing analysis in Excel and sending to somebody for them to double check in Excel. Based on how widely used Excel is, this is also going to be ranked up there with SQL in that S tier as a required skill you should have as a data analyst. Spoiler alert, I feel these 2 skills alone are the only 2 you likely need in order to land your first role. Next up are business intelligence tools, and there's 2 dominant players of Power BI and Tableau. These tools were solving a problem that Excel failed in. Now let's back up. Where did these BI tools originate from? Well, from a dashboard. Yep, this dashboard right here. Now you could overdo it and end up back in 1985, but that's for a separate lesson. Anyway, where did BI tools originate from? Well, they came from Excel dashboards that failed miserably. Specifically, spreadsheets weren't designed for this, and so you could have stakeholders dragging graphs all over the place. Additionally, these take a lot of different formulas and setup behind the scenes to work. Oh, and don't even get me started with sharing these. Which one is the most updated one? So BI tools like Power BI were created to solve this problem. They have a drag and drop interface for you to create your different charts, and even things like slicers for your stakeholders to drill further into. And then they provide a centralized location, such as the Power BI service for Power BI, for those to go to and use it. Now with Power BI and Tableau, I don't recommend learning both these tools. The concepts that are applied in both of these to build dashboards are the same, so once you have one dashboarding tool down, it's pretty easy to switch to the other. For which concepts to focus on, I'd first understand the different visualizations these tools are capable of producing, and then from there shift to more advanced concepts like that Power Query, which is also in Excel, to connect to data sources. Oh, by the way, Tableau has something similar of Tableau Prep. Now, with how powerful and shiny looking BI tools are, I don't recommend learning them first. Data usually comes in the form of a database or a spreadsheet, and so I think knowing something like SQL or Excel first in order to use these tools to analyze the data needs to be understood first before jumping into a BI tool. So based on these tools needing that, I'm gonna rank Power BI and Tableau below SQL and Excel in that A tier. I obviously recommend learning after that S tier and only learning one of those skills. Last up are the programming languages, and that is Python and R. Python is a multi-purpose use programming language. It's not only used for things like analytics, but also machine learning and even web development. R, however, is more specialized. It's highly used in statistics, data visualization, and even academic research. Now, because of Python's multi-purpose use case, it's my language of choice, and I recommend learning this over something like R. However, of all the tools that we've covered today, this is the most technical. Compared to some other tools that I've learned in the weekend, this one I've been refining and learning over the past few years, and I've still not learned enough. Now, the one major problem that I've found with using Python to perform data analysis on the job is this. When I go to share my results with Python with a coworker, they typically don't have experience in using Python. So one, they can't double check it, and two, they're less likely to use it because they can't play around with it. So based on how complex it is and not easy to share, I'm gonna put Python in the B tier below Viz tools, so you should be learning it after that. And then I'm gonna put R even lower in that C tier. But I'm gonna go back to the fact that you should only learn one programming language, Python or R. Anything you can do in Python, you can do in R. So now that we understand the skills along with what order you should be learning them in, what type of approach should you be taking to master them? Well, I have a 3-step approach. First, of picking a skill, focusing on those top demanded ones first. The second, of building a project, and that incorporates implementing data analytic concepts in these skills. And finally, most importantly, sharing this, posting to like LinkedIn and GitHub to get your work out there. I've polled my subscribers, and hands down, by far the most popular way to land a job is using projects. Now, it's important whenever you're learning these skills that you're not just learning the technicality of the skill itself, but more importantly, focusing on data analytic concepts. Each one of my courses on SQL, Excel, Power BI, and Python use this 3-step approach. For the first portion of each one of the courses, you learn right alongside me as we go through the basics, building real-world examples on a real-world data set. After that, we get into building a portfolio project, implementing the skills that you've learned. And by the end, you'll have a shareable project to demonstrate your experience. Now, all my courses are completely free to take, and I provide you all the resources necessary, but I do provide the option to get some extra perks if you decide to support. They not only have interview level practice problems for you to refine your skills, but also they have a community that you can interact with and work right alongside with. Oh, and at the end, you'll be rewarded with a certificate of completion. Now, some real talk, how long should this take you? Well, I dug into the data from the students completing my courses and found out the median value it took to learn a skill. A dashboarding tool such as Power BI is by far the fastest, with most learning it in 2 months. And then from there, Excel and SQL are neck and neck, taking about 3.5 months to learn. And finally, Python taking the longest of upward of 6 months. So these times match up pretty realistically what I've seen of people taking usually 6 to 12 months in order to transition into data analytics. It can be as fast as 3 months, especially if you're focusing on it full time, but more realistically, if you're having a job, 6 to 12 months. All right, so if you'd like to dive deeper into all the different concepts in these videos, such as my 3-step approach, I have a free 5-day crash course for that. With that, I'll see you in the next one.